Hello, my name is Paula, and welcome to today's recording on Sacred Flow Healing, Creating a Ritual. By way of introduction, I'm the founder of Awaken Your Dance, as well as a certified meditation teacher and spiritual life coach. And I have over a decade of experience with facilitating meditative or ecstatic dance. I'm also a coach as well as an author. And what really brings me here today is my deep lived experience in overcoming trauma and building resilience through healing. So, after suffering for 4 years from an accident and long COVID, I was inspired to create a simple ritual for healing. And that's the framework that we'll be looking at today, which you can adapt and make it your own. My dream is to share my passion for empowering others to discover their unique inner rhythm and live more authentic lives. So that brings me to the goals for today. So, like I mentioned, I'll be covering a framework for creating your own simple ritual for healing. It will help to support your wellness journey by helping you get into a deep flow state. From there, you'll be able to tap into wisdom, discover your own unique inner rhythm, as well as engage your body, mind, and spirit to manifest change in your life and whatever that change may look like. And this is all based on the premise that intuition is the key to personal healing and growth. So let's start with, well, who can benefit from healing? Really, everybody who has a pulse today has experienced some type of trauma in their life, excuse me. And most of us, sadly, are taught to push those emotions deep down inside. So some examples might be being passed up for a promotion at work that you worked really hard for and thought you deserved, being betrayed by a close friend or loved one, a victim of an abusive or toxic relationship, and so on. And this leads to old wounds or emotional and spiritual scars that accumulate in our bodies. And the reason this is important is that that results in us carrying this emotional baggage, if you will. So the mind, body, and spirit are interconnected, right? So what most of us do, just because it's natural, is we tense up our body when we are stressed. And this results in trapped energy, including emotions. So over time, this leads to chronic pain and a disconnect from our feelings. The thing is, that trapped emotions still affect us, even though we are not aware of them. Some examples are you may overeat, you may abuse alcohol and drugs, you may snap at a loved one, all without realizing why, or that you're even doing it for that matter. So you may have heard the expression, the only way out is through. Nothing could be more true. Listening to the messages our emotions are trying to give us is the only way to release them and be free of their impact. And the cool thing is that when we release this energy, it allows us to transmute it and turn it into something intentionally that could improve our lives. And the more that we're able to feel into our bodies and be comfortable being in them, the more easily we can receive intuitive wisdom and heal. So, with that said, let's talk a little bit about my definition of healing since it varies a lot. So, I perceive it as a journey that's typically not linear, and it involves a restoration of harmony on one or more levels that may be physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, interpersonal, energetically. And I really perceive it as an opportunity for us to be led back toward our essential nature or our true self. And you may be wondering, well, how does healing intention and ritual play into this? Well, healing intention gives our journey a general direction. And then ritual helps us align our mind, body, spirit to augment our healing and manifest change. It helps us to train our body, mind to connect with spirit. Let's talk a few minutes about the fact that we can heal ourselves. And just to be clear here, I'm not talking about healing a broken bone. I'm talking about, healing our emotional and spiritual wounds. For centuries, ancient shamans had performed healing rituals across cultures. Um, you can see in this example the Sufi whirlers. They're one of the best known forms of ecstatic dance. If you're not aware of them, you definitely should Google them because it's pretty cool. So through my education, training, and lived experience, I personally know that anyone can learn to create a healing ritual and experience profound self healing. So, I mentioned earlier having recovered from an accident as well as long COVID as being an inspiration for sharing today's ritual. I've also had a lot more trauma in my life. For example, I broke free from a narcissistic abusive relationship, and so on. I won't get into all of the nitty-gritty details. We'd be here all day. But let me just say that having a healing ritual has helped me grow and transform my life in a multitude of ways. And I truly hope it will empower you to connect with your innate ability to heal yourself. I just want to give you four little tips here before we dive in a little bit deeper. And the first one is believe it's possible. Okay, we know that your beliefs shape your reality. So if you believe it's possible, it's more likely to happen. If you don't believe it's possible, it's probably not going to happen. Second thing is trust your intuition. We'll be talking a little bit shortly about how to tap into your intuition a little bit more if you're not already familiar with that. Um, Third thing is be consistent in your practice because just like any ritual, if you're not consistent and you don't practice, it won't become habitual. And you may not see the kind of outcomes that you're hoping to see. And then the fourth thing is equally as important is to be open to the journey and wherever it takes you. It may be in some unknown or surprising places, by the way. So that's why I really like to call that out. So with that said, that brings me to the Sacred Flow Healing Ritual Framework that you can currently see on screen. And I will be breaking down each component as we go through the rest of today's recording. From a high level, just want to mention some of this may appear to be a little familiar to those of you who have meditation experience. And what distinguishes this from any other practice is the blend of repetitive, rhythmic music with intuitive movement and followed by reflection and creativity. And this enables you to ground into a deep flow state and tap intuitive wisdom. And just also want to call out that it's based on a moving meditation. However, it can be adapted for a stationary one. Although I suggest using it as is, given that even the most gentle movements can help release stagnant energy in your body. So, with that said, here's how this framework helps you ground into a deep flow state and connect with intuitive wisdom. The first element is the music plus the movement, which I had mentioned is repetitive, is rhythmic. Research shows that this helps us shift our brain waves. The second component is mindful awareness, which those of you who have experience with meditation, you may already be aware of this, ha, a pun. This is being ultra focused on your breath and being present, non judgmental, and observing your feelings and thoughts, not engaging in them. And then the third element is leading up to this deep flow state, which is really this super relaxed, receptive state of mind. It's feeling disconnected from your mind. And it enables you to tap into intuitive, creative, and subconscious parts of yourself. So, with that said, the final component that I just want to kind of plug together in this framework is the reflection and creativity. So this is where the intention integration happens, and really sets you in a place where you are just so receptive and able to receive messages and insights that you wouldn't be otherwise able to get, and then capture them in an uncensored fashion via writing and or drawing. So again, I'm going to break out all of these components as we go, but I just wanted to give you a very high level view into what we'll be covering. So just shifting gears a little bit here and breaking down like what is a ritual? Well, rituals are just habits or behaviors that we repeatedly perform in certain situations. And they tell our body what to expect. Now, you may not even be aware of this, but we all engage in rituals every single day. Like, for example, you may start each day with a cup of joe. You may meditate before going to bed. You may exercise, and so on. So, the point being that you can consciously create a ritual for connecting your mind, body, and spirit to foster personal growth and healing. And that's what today is all about. So let's break down all of those components in that initial diagram that I showed you. The first one is finding a sacred space and time or a safe container for your ritual. So I recommend finding a private space that has plenty of room to sit, lay, and or stand comfortably. And this space should really invite you to relax, be present in the moment, and open to spirit. And you may want to decorate it with objects that resonate with you in your healing journey, and that help you engage with spirit. If you're doing this ritual as a moving meditation, your space should also be clear of clutter, anything that you can trip over, knock into, or fall down. And this helps to minimize on distraction and self harm. And it's also important to pick a specific time during the day for your ritual. Most people tend to pick either first thing in the morning or right before they go to bed, but really any time that makes sense for you and helps you stick with your ritual is the way to go. So, in your sacred space at your time, you then might want to set the ambience for your ritual. For example, close the shades, draw the curtains, dim or turn off the lights. You may want to light some incense and or scented candles or use essential oils. So that's the first component. Bringing us to the second one, music. I mentioned already earlier, repetitive and rhythmic music is key. It also should be multi-layered and have a beat per minute of 130 to 150, along with minimal vocals. And we find that this works best for promoting a shift into a deep flow state. So, for example, you may want to look at drumming or chanting or sound bowls. The key is to find music that matches your vibe, which may differ from mine. And you may want to try just experimenting with various forms of music and see what moves you at any given time. Another tip is to create one or more playlists so that you can just choose from them depending on your vibe. I also suggest wearing earbuds or headphones or using a Bluetooth speaker for hands-free movement. And just want to call out that earbuds and headphones may also help you connect more deeply with the music. The next component is your gaze. You may want to close your eyes or wear a blindfold or keep them open but downward cast and unfocused. This helps turn your focus inward and tune out all the things that may be happening in the world around you. If you've never moved with your eyes closed, you may want to start there first and see how it feels before trying a blindfold. Really like to call this out because a lot of people find it disorienting at first to wear a blindfold and to close their eyes while they're trying to move. So that can take some time to acclimate to. Once again, it's all about whatever works for you and your comfort level. And experimenting is important to see what does work for you, which may vary from session to session or even in the same session. That brings me to the fourth component, which is the breath. And deep breathing from the belly is the single most effective way to calm your mind and body. Now, if you're new to breath work, don't despair. Like all types of breath work help you relax and open up for the journey. And you may want to consider starting with being aware of your breath initially and then deepening it slightly, but not so it feels forced. The next component is grounding. Grounding involves connecting with and drawing energy from the earth. It fosters stability and promotes a sense of being in the present moment. And there are many ways to ground, such as earthing, forest bathing, nature walks, mindful breathing, engaging your senses, and so on and so on. Putting your bare feet on the earth and feeling the energy in the soles of your feet is a powerful way to ground. Now, for most of us, that's just not feasible to do our ritual outdoors. You're probably going to be doing it indoors. So I want you to know that putting your bare feet on the floor inside and feeling the energy rise up into your body is also effective. As an alternative, you can feel the energy rising into your body from the base of your spine or your root chakra while you're seated. That brings me to intention, starting off by asking what wants to come into healing today is a great way to lead your ritual. Try not to overthink it, like whatever comes to mind. And don't worry if nothing comes to mind, by the way. Just be open and follow the journey. So, to set your intention, place a hand on the center of your chest or your heart chakra while holding it in mind and then releasing it to the universe on the exhale, letting go of all the details and knowing that the universe will provide for you. So I want to call out that your healing intention may not match what your subconscious is ready to heal. This happens every now and then to me, and it's not unusual, so that's why I like to call it out. Not to worry, that happens to be part of your journey. Again, be open and follow it wherever it may take you. Next up is invocation. So you may want to create an invocation that resonates with you. And it can be a chant, a prayer, a sound, or a word that honors spirit. If you're choosing a sound, I suggest that it be something comfortable like ah. And again, experiment, see what works best for you. And then when it comes time to share your invocation, focus your intention on your heart chakra and feel the vibrations of the spoken word within your body. This helps you open up your throat chakra and release any fears you may have about being heard. Next up is moving or intuitive movement. So this is free form, and the key is to move in any way, and I mean any way that feels right to you. And typically I suggest using a body scan to feel into your body and observe anything that's calling out to you as you work through your body. Using simple, repetitive movements enables you to raise your heart rate enough to be a bit challenging, yet basic enough that you don't need to think about it. So, for example, wiggling, shaking, or bouncing any body part is are those are ideal, simple, repetitive movements. And this helps you shift from your day to day mindset into a deep flow state together with repetitive rhythmic music. And just calling out the note that this whole ritual can be, I'm sorry, this component can be skipped if you were adapting this ritual for a stationary meditation. However, again, I mentioned this earlier. I do recommend at least doing gentle movements because this can help you release stagnant energy in your body. That brings me to stillness. Sitting in stillness is vital for intention integration. And I suggest placing a hand on your heart chakra and opening yourself up as you're winding down your ritual to receive whatever messages you're ready for. You may only receive small fragments of a message. Other times there may be coherent downloads of a message. And just calling out that your experience and messages will be different each time you practice your ritual. That brings me to the final component, which is meditative journaling and or doodling. Spending time for reflection and creativity at the end of your ritual is important for intention and integration as well. This helps you deepen and process insights gained from your practice and integrate them back into your daily life for later reflection. And I suggest capturing anything that shows up without censoring. So here's a summary of the framework we covered today. When it's time to practice your ritual, enter your sacred space with your selected music, along with headphones or Bluetooth speakers, a blindfold if you're planning to wear one, your journal, and water. Set the ambience by drawing the shades, dimming the lights, lighting candles or incense. Turn on the music. Close your eyes or put on your blindfold and ground into a deep flow state using your breath. When you're ready, share your intention and your invocation, and then use simple, repetitive movements, observing whatever's calling out to you as you go. And then sitting in stillness when you feel done and open yourself up to any messages you may be ready to receive. And then finally, capturing your insights using journaling and or doodling. That said, so just want to call out, I mentioned this earlier on, that I'm a certified spiritual life coach and I offer one-on-one online sessions to help you create and implement your own custom healing ritual and plan for manifesting changes in your life. So I also offer online group events that provide sacred space to practice your ritual using a guided meditative experience. If you're interested in more information on this, feel free to reach out. You can check out my website, awakenyourdance.org, or you can feel free to send me an email. Yes, I actually use email. Um, it's awakenyourdance@gmail.com. That said, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope this recording was very informative, and I look forward to hearing back from you.